morning, 6th grade geometry class. Today I'm going to tell you a little story. When I was in middle school, in my math classes, I was sitting in Mrs. Reineke's room. The day before, we learned about all these functions, shapes, equations that go with them, their properties, and I was like, all right, this will be easy, no big deal. Like, shapes are pretty easy to see and understand what they look like and what they're doing. And then we got to class, and I sat there, and she goes, all right, put everything away. We're going to have a quiz on what we learned yesterday. And I sat there, and I was like, all right, I don't remember everything from yesterday, and everything was just, like, bumbled in my mind, and I didn't know what to do. I was like, I don't know, like, you told me 5 different equations and 10 different shapes, and I don't know which one goes with which. So I was just so confused. So what we learned yesterday, we're going to use a technique called mind mapping. And I don't want you guys to ever freak out, think we're having a quiz today or anything. We're not. We're just going to go through so you don't have the panic mode like I did and freak out and just freeze when you're at your test. Because I sat there with a blank quiz for like the most of the class period. And then the last 2 minutes, I was like, oh, I'm just going to make stuff up and hope I did something right. So we're going to start off with a little group discussion in your small groups. I want you to describe and think of anything you learned yesterday in your previous knowledge of triangles. So in your small groups, I want you to say what you know about triangles and what, like, equations or anything that goes with them, maybe where you saw them a lot in your real life. So discuss that for a couple of minutes, and I'll bring you back to the big group. Triangles. And yep. Yeah, you're slacking, dude. Just kidding. That's fine. You're 6th grade, remember? All right, can I have a couple of people share what they knew or thought? Preferably not the math majors. Yeah. Nice. Very good. Anyone else?
We talked about how in a right triangle, the hypotenuse is across from the right angle.
Ooh, nice, nice. Very good. So a lot of you got what the properties or types of them. Okay, so now we know a general idea about triangles. We don't know all the specifics, but like you said, we knew properties, but then we knew the different types. Like, it all gets a little confused, so we're going to try to organize that today. So I want you all to pull out a piece of paper. Just a blank sheet of paper. Yes, you can use the back of the worksheet I gave you. And smack dab in the middle of it, I want you to draw a triangle. Any kind, big or small, whatever you want to do. Doesn't matter what it looks like. And then write triangle in it. Okay. Then off of that, we're going to try to keep it to about 3 or 4 basic things. So off of that, you want to draw another line. So this is organizing your ideas, and you're going to draw another triangle. In that triangle, you can write properties. Then we'll do the same thing one more time on the other side or wherever you'd like. And we will call this one classifications of triangles. Or types, whichever one you'd like to write down. Okay. So now with your groups, the discussion you had earlier of just verbally saying it, I want you to try to write down all over that mind map what you think you know just about the properties and types of triangles. So you can keep putting lines off of all these triangles and keep going in more in detail every step you go out of your central point. You need to keep getting more detailed and more specific on what you're talking about. With this, though, you can use words, you can use pictures, you can use examples, anything that makes the most sense to you specifically. Okay? So you can discuss this in your groups and just try to fill up as much as you can. And feel free to go whenever. If you have any questions, raise your hand and I'll be walking around. Sorry for not calling on you.
That's only on right triangles.
It doesn't have to be right. It doesn't have to be wrong. Anything. Put anything you want down for now. Excuse me, miss, can you please get off your phone and do your homework? Okay, so all you gotta do is draw a line off of any part of that triangle and then write properties.
My triangles aren't straight. That's why I'm getting mad because my triangles are all ugly.
Your triangles look beautiful.
They're not.
And then types. And then put as much information as possible.
Isn't there like there's obtuse and isn't there? Those are angles, yeah.
But there's still
Oh, and that's what makes them scale. Well,
Yes? Don't look. I didn't hide it. All right, so pencils down. Now, so we have the general idea. Give or take, if your explanations are the same as the person's next to you, it does not matter. You can have whatever you want. So, that was my basic mind map if I drew it on paper. For me, to elaborate a little bit more on this, I made a mind map on this program called MindDome, for all of you that don't know. Okay, so I started out in the beginning. I started with triangle, but I didn't know exactly what a triangle was. So I put the definition down. So I knew what every triangle had to consist of or what was defined as a triangle. Then, for properties, we can go over here. We have multiple properties. All of them have 3 sides, 3 angles. I heard a lot of you saying that the 3 angles can add up to 180 degrees. Good job. And then the vertex and base. So just more definitions and terminology for the triangles. But then the main one that I want to focus on today is the types of triangles. So can someone tell me a type of triangle? Any type. Go on. Isosceles. Okay. I'll have it up here in a second. Anyone else have a triangle? Any type? Equilateral. Scalene, yep. Is there any other types of triangles? Sarah? Obtuse. Okay, so what is the difference between a scalene and obtuse? Like, they're both types, but what are they main focus off of? So when we say a triangle is obtuse, what are we focusing? How do we know it's obtuse? Yep. Very good. Okay, so most of you, I saw a couple of people, you went right off of types, and you're like, oh, there's isosceles and all these, and then there's the obtuse and acute. But when I did it, I first classified those by angle and then by sides. So a couple of you got confused. So that will be a way to organize it better. Like, I started out first just listing them, and I'm like, wait, I can organize this more so I understand it. So then you can classify by angles. So as you said, obtuse right, equiangular, and then the equilateral, isosceles, scalene. So we can go through those. Then, how do we know what an obtuse triangle is? Said it a little bit earlier. Okay. Angle that's over 90 degrees. So then, off of that, I would put that information. So we just keep building off and off and off, and eventually you just keep getting more detailed information. Me personally, I'd rather have a picture up there too with it. So that could be something you guys could add or describe, or if you had a problem, which angle is bigger, which triangle is this, then you could add that to it too. So the same with all of these. Okay? So that is one way to organize. Then we would move on to the area and the perimeter and just keep moving out and out until we created our own mind maps. So your homework for this weekend is to create your own mind map. It can be on the computer, technology, it can be just on a piece of paper, a poster, anything. But a big mind map on everything we've learned. You can use your book, you can use notes, the internet, about triangles. And then we'll review that on Monday. Any questions? All right. So that's pretty much it for my lesson. One of the things that I just wanted to show you guys, because that was one that I did, this was another one that I did for a class for 8th grade functions. So I did it's really hard to see, but I did the before knowledge, the during knowledge of 8th grade, and then the after, and then I did like problems, common misconceptions, and like language you should and should not use, because it will confuse them compared to like elementary school. So I just wanted to show you guys that real quick. Ping.
What is that?
This is MindDome. Sorry, I didn't say that. MindDome.com. And it is free. One thing that I learned last night, and I'm not sure if Rosie can clarify this for me, but you can't add pictures from your own computer because you need the upgraded version, which I'm pretty sure you'd have to pay for that.
I don't know specifically how this works.
I didn't know.
There are a lot. There's like 9, at least, free mind map sites.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And they're all different and have different keywords.
And I started off just doing this by myself on this program, and it was pretty easy to learn how to like use the typing functions to like get a next like subject out and all that. So it like tells you like if you need another topic, like shift and enter. Like it was pretty friendly in my concern because I'm not really good with technology always. That was just an idea I'd show you guys. And then with that too, like you can hide all these like I did earlier in the class. So then you can like be like, okay, let's quiz you. What are the 3 of them? And then you can open that up. Well, what do those 3 mean? And keep opening it up and use it as a review or like a quiz. Any other questions or concerns for mind maps?